want to give you 4 steps that I personally use. Hey, Diana Darby. 4 steps that I personally use when I was looking for my soulmate, or when I was feeling like I was really ready to become a wife, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I have been trying. Donna Seal. Okay, Donna. Well, we got to figure out what you've been trying to do, because I don't want you to try. I want you to hit the target and exceed it. Hey, lady. Good to see you. Good to see you. Wow. Team No Ordinary Woman. Hello. Welcome. 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 Okay, so I'm going to be going back and forth because I'm both talking to Instagram and Facebook at the same time. So let's get into this. So often, sometimes we feel like that love is just supposed to come really easy, and it should be something that you don't have to work hard on, but yet we find ourselves like failing in it. We keep coming up with people who are not compatible with us. Hey, Patrice, how are you, girly girl? And so let me introduce myself one more time, just in case, because all of you guys are coming on. I'm Nikisha Michelle. I'm the Love Doyen, fierce matchmaker, and love coach. And what I do is I help primarily plus size women all over the world in their dating dry spell, find love, and become a wife. And hello, Shirley, and I enjoy doing this. It is my full-time obligation. It is my ministry. My clients say, girl, this is your ministry. It is my ministry. It is my full-time obligation. It is my joy. It is my passion. It is what I breathe. Helping women know that there's helping them break the barriers to them being able to find that deep, loving relationship. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Helping them find the deep, passionate relationship that I found, and doing it in record time. I'm talking about 6 months to a year. Finding it, taking it from not having anybody to being married in a year. Now, let me tell you guys something. I just was calculating when I was talking to my Make Me a Wife Academy member tonight. I was telling her I've been on this challenge where I want to make sure that I get 50 women this year. 50 women, within next year married. And I was showing her how possible it was. I was thinking that it took me a year, but it didn't take me a year. It took me 11 months, because I started my journey of June 2012. By May 2013, I was married. May 16, 2013, I was married. So June 2012, I didn't have anybody. For those of you who don't even know my story, I've been divorced. And after I got divorced in 2011, I started, dating. We were separated for a few years before the divorce went through. So I don't want you to think like I went from divorce right into marriage again. But in 2011, I was divorced because I was in an emotionally abusive relationship, and not being mad at him anymore, and understanding that emotional abusive relationship was because I was emotionally abusive to myself. And not only was I emotionally abusive to myself because I didn't like myself and I didn't think that I was worthy of anything. I didn't think that I was worthy to have a happy life. It was also stemmed from having an emotionally abusive growing up, adolescent years. So I was carrying a theme in my life moving forward as to why this guy that I married, my first husband, is why he was emotionally abusive, because that's all I was used to. So it would have been too much like right for him to treat me good, because I wouldn't have trusted it anyway in the mindset, in the emotional state that I was in. So therefore, I love the guy because he only did what I allowed him to do and what I was used to receiving. So hear me, ladies, when you are ready for love, Virgin, be quiet and stop it. When you are not used to having people treat you right, and you are insecure about who you are deep inside, like you might look like you got it all together, because I had a master's degree, I had a good job, I was in administration in my job, and I was a cute girl, but deep inside, I didn't believe I was worth having anything. And so people really treat you the way you really feel about you, okay? So moving forward, so when the divorce was finally final, when I was able to divorce him in 2011, I jumped and started dating. Now, mind you, I had been married for 7 years, so the dating scene had changed a whole hell of a lot. And I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought that all you had to do was just be honest and true to somebody, and they would be honest and true to you, which is not the truth. Because if you have emotional shit going on inside of you, you have a turmoil going on inside of you, a tug of war about who you are going on inside of you, people can't treat you good. You don't even attract the type of people who will treat you good. Because like I was telling my client in the Make Me a Wife Academy, we have a field, an energy field around us. And the energy field sometimes is so low in terms of emotion, so daunting, so sad, that have you ever just like met somebody and you could see it in their eyes and in their body posture how sad they are, or you could tell that they had low self-esteem? Well, if you could read it, men can also read that on you. And so a lot of times they will play off of that. And sometimes you guys are attracting each other because of your wounds. You're attracting each other because of your tattered past. And so when two hurt people are together, it is too difficult for them to create a healthy, emotionally healthy relationship, because neither one is trusting. And not only are neither one of you are trusting, but the communication is off. And not only is the communication off, you're hungry for love. You're so hungry for love, and you become almost unbearable and desperate because you want this person to be, they almost become like a drug to you. And if they're not doing exactly what you need them to do, and you're not feeling from them what you need to feel, you have an explosive behavior. You have an explosive behavior, and a lot of men, it becomes controlling. They try to control you. They try to, limit who you talk to. They limit who you are around. They start trying to, smother you a little bit, right? So that's what happens when you have unhealthy relationships, and you have an unhealthy relationship with yourself. Hey, Miriam, welcome, welcome, welcome. So when I divorced, I was still in that unhealthy energy field because I had not worked on myself. So I was only attracting men who didn't want me either. They didn't like themselves. They didn't like me. So it was hard for us to, be together. So I was dating this one guy for about 4 months, 4 long months, and being everything to him that I thought I was supposed to be, and trying to please him, trying to please his family, only to find out when I went away on a trip, he started becoming distant. So I called him. I was like, what's going on? Why are you being so distant? What's going on? And he told me, you know what? This is not going to work out. You will never work for me. It's not going to work out. And he just broke up with me. And then he prayed for me after he broke up with me, like prayed for me and was like, get on your way. And I was devastated. So at that time, my mom is on. I don't know why my mom comes on these things. Mommy, I curse, okay? I curse. I do everything. Hey, Soror. Hey, Soror Ursula. So he broke up with me, and I was so devastated. I was crying. I felt like I just wanted to die. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to let this get me down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dream board, and I'm just going to start living my dreams, because I can't let this tear me apart, even though it did. I think I was in bed for like a week just crying and so sad. And I couldn't believe he had the nerve to pray for me. I was just like beyond myself. And so I remember doing my dream board, and on my dream board, this was December 2011, on my dream board, I said, in 12 months, by the end of 2012, I am going to be engaged. Right. I put that on my dream board. I am going to be engaged by the end of 2012. Didn't know how it was going to happen. Didn't know anything, but I put it on my dream board that I was going to be engaged by 2012. I had a big ring and all of this stuff. So by the time January came, I had met an amazing guy. At least I thought he was amazing. We met through Twitter. You know, a lot of y'all date in social media on Match.com and all of that stuff. I tried it. She tried it. I met him on Twitter. He was a producer. He's a video TV producer, and I worked in TV as a TV personality. So I was thinking, yes, it is. It is generational. It definitely is generational. So I met him, and we were talking long nights on the phone. It was just so amazing. He just brightened me up. I felt like God had sent me an angel, and he started hinting around like, do you think you're my soulmate? Now, he never said I was his soulmate, but he was like, do you think you're my soulmate? And I was like, I do. I think we have so much in common. And so we went on and we talked and all of that. And then finally he decided to fly from New York to be with me in Los Angeles. And he did that. And to me, it was one of the most incredible weekends of my life, right, at the time. And I thought we had an amazing weekend, an amazing time. And when he left Monday morning. I'll never forget this. He left Monday morning. We talked while he was in the airport, and he was saying he had a great time, and he was going to be back. And since that day, I never have seen this man again. As a matter of fact, he blocked me. He blocked me from social media. He blocked my phone. He wouldn't return my texts. And I was completely crushed and devastated. So this was about early May 2012. Now, remind you, I put on my dream board that by the end of the year, I was going to be engaged. So around May, I was just moping and sad and depressed and half suicidal and all kind of stuff. And then I came to the crossroads. And here's where our lesson is going to come in, our 4 steps. I came to the crossroad. And the crossroad for me was, are you going to be defeated by love? Because you have had so many challenges in your life that you have overcome and that you've been successful at. And you have to ask your question this same thing. You ask yourself the same question. Are you going to look at the things that you've been successful at and say, okay, I was successful over there, but I don't have what it takes to be successful in love? And that was the question that I had to ask myself. Am I going to allow myself to be defeated in love and only be successful in my business, only be successful in my career, only be successful, at being everybody's friend and the life of the party? Am I only going to be successful in those areas, but I'm not going to be successful in love? And something about me loves a challenge. I love a challenge. And when I thought about that, I said, you know what? If I could conquer these different areas of my life, if I could conquer having a baby at 14 and continuing my education, if I can conquer when they told me in social work that as a young girl that you would have to work for years before you got to administration level, but I conquered that. By the time I was 20, I believe I was like 26, 27 years old, I was the regional director of a therapeutic foster care agency. I was a homeowner. I had 2 cars. So they told me it couldn't be done, but I did it, right? They told me that when you can't live in LA, you can't live in Los Angeles because it is the worst economical downfall of the century and all of this stuff. I moved right out to LA and I got a job within 45 days. I got 2 jobs, as a matter of fact, in administration level within 45 days. So I was looking at my success record, like, you've done this, and then within 8 months I was on TV in LA. So I was looking at my success record, and I was like, I've been successful in all these things. I'd be damned if I won't be successful in love. I'm going to figure this thing out, and I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to be successful in love. And when I do, and this was the pact that I told God, I said, God, if you allow me to conquer love and be successful in love, I will make sure there will be no woman who's willing to work with me, willing to listen to me, that I will not allow her heart to be broken a day longer than it needs to be broken. I will teach her what you teach me. So here we are. So I learned these 4 crucial steps in order to be bold and intentional about finding love. So at this point, we are in June of 2012 when I was at the crossroads, and I decided that I was going to bury myself in the same energy I put into my career and being successful and not being broke and breaking generational curses. I put that same energy into understanding and learning love. I put the same study hours in. I'm telling you, I did things that I never thought I would do. Like, I'm a Christian girl. I was born and raised in the church, but I'll tell you what, when I was searching for love, I looked in all types of places. I was meditating for hours and hours with Buddhist monks up in the mountaintops. Like, I would be with the monks, their head shaved. It's kind of nervous at first. You're nervous, but then you realize they're just as anointed. They're just as energetically powerful as, you know, when I was in the church and they would talk to me and they would pour life into me. So in my meditation time, in my reading time, in my prayer time, my journaling time, I was getting down and serious with figuring out what this love stuff was all about. So here we go. Step number 1 to being bold and intentional about finding love, you have to set a date. You set a date. Every goal has a date, so you have to treat this just like it's a normal goal, like you're trying to achieve. I'm going to graduate from college. I'm going to attain my master's. I'm going to attain my doctorate. Stop feeling like it's out of your control, because oftentimes we feel like love is out of our control and we have to wait on God to deem us worthy, and it's not that. As long as you are preparing yourself and you are determined and you are emotionally connected, you set a date. And so every goal has a set time. So I put, not even knowing what I didn't know. Remember, I said on my dream board, and my dream board is on Facebook. That dream board that I used back then. On my dream board, I had a big engagement ring, and I had by December, I was going to be engaged. Here we are in June, and my heart has just been broken. And the thing about achieving a goal, I don't care what it looks like. This is when you have to actually use faith, like not hope, but faith. Your faith has to be so full that no matter how you feel and where you are at that particular time, no matter what you don't see, you got to believe more in yourself, in your dream, than you believe in the negativity that you may be experiencing or the lack that you may be experiencing. So I had that faith. So June, here we are, we're in June. I just got my heart broken. A guy came, I thought he was it, and he disappeared and blocked me from his life, okay? But I was determined. I was like, I'm going to figure this out. So number 1, set a date. Number 2, be clear on what you want. We are not clear. We take too much energy and too much time talking about what we will never have and what we don't want. And and how it can't happen, and how hurt you've been in the past, and therefore you've laid out your whole life that the whole life is supposed to be hurtful because one guy hurt you or 4 guys hurt you. That's just 4 out of a billion single people. Okay, that's one relationship out of tons of people. Hurt people don't know anything other than to hurt other people. And if you have an emotional state or a past that was riddled in hurt, you're only going to attract people who are going to hurt you. And even if you don't attract somebody who's going to hurt you that's really good to you, you will end up abusing them, because hurt has to be in your equation. Hurt has to be somewhere in your equation. So what I learned from my past is, either when I was emotionally damaged, either I was going to be the aggressor, or the aggressor was going to be aggressive against me. But because I wasn't emotionally healthy, that was the theme of my life. Okay? So you're going to have to be clear on what you want, not a bunch of what you don't want, okay? Forget about what you don't want. Talk about what you want. Write it down, what you want. And here's one of the things, like my client, she was saying, she said, well, every year I say, this the last birthday I'm going to be alone. Hello, that's not clear. That's not clear. I said that by the end of the year, I'm going to be engaged. I didn't say this is the last year I'm going to be alone. What does that mean to the universe? What does that mean to God? What does that mean to you? You can't talk in obscure language and have an obscure feeling. This is the last year. This is my last birthday alone. How many of you have said something like that? You have to be clear. You have to be clear on your intentions. You have to be bold with it. This is the last year I am going to be a single woman, or an unmarried woman, or I am going to be engaged by this time next year, or whatever. You have to speak with clarity and conviction, okay? So not only do you have to be clear, you have to understand why you want what you want. You have to want what you want for a reason. Things come to us to fulfill a purpose. Things come to us to fulfill a purpose. And back then, which is still true to this day, I wanted my relationship. I wanted to become a wife, because I knew I could do more with a mate than I could do by myself. I felt like I had finished this level of success on my own. And for where I wanted to go, it required me to have a person with me. To bring it home even more specific, I knew that because of the pain that I had gone through, I was already a life coach back then, a life strategist and a social worker. I knew that I wanted to deal in relationships, because I knew love, especially black love, or what we consider black love, is very difficult, and we don't stay together, and there's always a lot of turmoil and pain and hurt when it comes in relationships. So how am I going to teach something that I've never experienced? So I wanted to know this powerful part of God. I wanted to know that when I had my mate and we worked these things out, that I could teach it to other people who would be in my shoes. Self-fulfilling prophecy, okay? So I knew my why was that I knew that I had gone as far as I can go in my ministry on what I wanted to be able to offer to the world as a single woman. So that was my why. So you need to understand, what is your purpose? Your purpose has to extend beyond sex. Your purpose has to extend beyond being selfish. Your purpose has to extend beyond you ain't never been loved, or you've given your heart to all the men, or you've given your heart to all the women and they've always stumped on it and ignored you and dogged you out. It has to be deeper than that. It has to be deeper than you're getting old and you don't want to grow old alone. It has to be a purpose, a serious, innate purpose to why you really want this person to be joined to you. Because I preach about soulmates, and soulmates are to take you to the next level of your life. Soulmates are to help you turn your life into something even more exponential than what it is. Look at Jada and Will. When Will and Jada got together, they had done some things, some good things, some good, films and things like that. They were already known, but when when they got together, look at what they created. Look at where their life ended up being. Look at the types of children, how successful their children are. So soulmates take you to another realm. Before I met my husband, I was successful in, social work, but that wasn't my life calling. That wasn't my passion. It was because of my husband that pushed me in the realm of doing TV. And he was like, your true calling, baby, is TV. Your true calling is you're a teacher. He pushed me into my destiny of what I'm doing, right? So soulmates are so powerful. So you want to make sure you understand why this person is coming to your life, because they have to accommodate your future, not just who you are right now, but who you're going to become. Okay. So that's number 3. So number 1 is set a date. Number 2 is be clear about what you want. Number 3, why you want it. And then the 4th thing you have to do is prepare. So let me explain something to you. When I say prepare, you have to be multidimensional in your preparation. You have to prepare your mind. You have to prepare your emotions, because I was very emotionally immature. I was so emotionally immature because I had a lot of trauma happen to me earlier in my life. So I learned that wherever you had that most trauma in your life is the age you get stuck. So I was stuck being a 14-year-old girl my entire life until 2012. Until 2012, I was a 14-year-old girl. And everything I did it out of either a competitive spirit to show somebody that I could do it, or I did it out of an emotional spirit saying that, because I was afraid and I felt like I had to please people. So wherever your trauma is the age you stay, right? Until you heal that. So when I say prepare and multidimensional preparation, I had to grow up emotionally. So I was reading books like, write this down, Seed of the Soul. I had to read that book, Seed of the Soul, because my soul needed to heal. It needed to rise to the occasion of being a wife and being prepared, okay? So I was reading, I had to prepare my mind. I had to grow up emotionally. I had to grow up in my environment. I used to live like I was a college student because I never stayed anywhere. I was always unstable. I never stayed anywhere long enough, so I never accumulated anything. So I had to learn to make my house into a home. And not only make my house into a home, I had to learn to prepare my environment so that somebody else would be interested in being a part of my environment, right? So I turned my bedroom into a love den. I was a single woman, but if you came in my bedroom, you think I had a husband, because my bedroom was set up as a love den. And you have to be in Make Me a Wife Academy to know more about that, right? But I had to prepare for all of that. Now, here's the thing. As I was preparing my environment, I was smudging. And smudging, again, is a term that uses to detoxify your house, to cleanse your house. I was smudging my house, and I remember cleaning and smudging, and this was July. By this time, we're in July of 2012. And in July of 2012, I had that feeling. I said, you know what? This is the last year I am going to be a single woman. I'm going to enjoy myself, because this is the last year I'm going to be a single woman. Now, remember, I started with, at the beginning, I had the dream board December 2011. I said by next year I'm going to be engaged. So check this out. So I'm preparing myself, praying, meditating, reading everything I can find on men and marriage and love and all of that. And December, I got a trip to go to Africa. My daughter and I, we got a all expense paid trip to Africa. We went to Africa, and December 20th, I wrote in my journal, I said in my journal, oh, thank you, Unsuffer Me. Yes, white sage, smudge. Yes, that's exactly what I use. White sage. I forgot what it was called, but that's what it was. I white saged my house, opened windows, cleaned like I don't know what, smudged my house. And while I was smudging my house, I was speaking what I wanted. So here we go. December 20th, 2012, right? I was writing in my journal, sitting in West Africa, sitting in Lagos, Nigeria, thanking God for such an amazing healing and transformation and the blessings and the abundance that he had been giving me. But then I said, God, you have done everything, but you know I want to be a wife. And it's December now, and I thought I would be engaged by now, but just let me know what it is that's standing in between me and me getting my goal. And I will fix it. I will do it. Just let me know. That was December 20th, 2012. The next day, the very next day, God brought me my soulmate. Now, I didn't know that was him the next day, but I was attracted to him. But December 21st, 2012, is when Boyo and I met. And from that day to this day, we have always been together, you know, flying back and forth, all of that stuff. But we got married May 2013. So both goals worked. I was pretty much, quote unquote, engaged within a year. And then by the time when I was doing that smudging, and I said to myself, this is the last year I'm going to be a single woman, it worked, because May 2013, May 16, 2013, I was a married woman. So I am here to let you know that you have to be bold and intentional. It's not being desperate. It's none of that. It is some of us literally have to be focused and intentional about what we want, especially when it's something that has given us so many problems in the past. You have to work on that thing until you perfect it. And now that I've perfected the love, look at the prophecy that came to pass. Now, look at me. I'm the love guru, love doctor. I got the Make Me a Wife Academy. I'm responsible for, to date, probably about 32 marriages, I think, or maybe about 32. I'm not sure. This year we have a mission by this time next year to have 50 women who have found their soulmates, either planning a wedding or already married. I got a TV show in the works. Look at the prophecy, and guess who's been with me this whole time, these last 4 years? My husband, pushing me, supporting me. My debut event in Atlanta last week, he's there smiling, working the cameras. When I do the Make Me a Wife Academy, when we do the classes, he's there co-teaching with me on specific topics that he feels like he needs to jump in and talk to the ladies. So I'm letting you know, if it happened for me, it can happen for you, but it's all in you being reflective on what you're going to do in the meantime, like from now until your date that you set, that I know you're going to set. What are you going to do? That fourth one is very important, the preparation work. And that's why I made Make Me a Wife Academy so affordable, because I didn't want any excuses to why you can't get in there and do the preparation work. And just like I tell my clients, you guys are so lucky you have a guide. I didn't have a guide. I had to figure this ish out. So I didn't cuss. My mother said stop cussing. I had to figure this out. But once I figured it out, it's a gold. It's like gold. And when I see women who felt like they could never have love or find love, and now they're planning weddings, and then I keep thinking about Sasha, who was like nervous about her relationship and all of this stuff. She's got love, and now they're expecting a baby. It just gets me so excited. And that's why I do what I do. So I would love to offer you the opportunity, ladies, to be in the Make Me a Wife Academy. To my gentlemen who are listening, if you are interested in meeting one of my ready, prepared ladies, please inbox me so that I can do a consultation with you to make sure you're ready for an introduction. But let me leave you with this, because it's late and I need to get home. I've been in the office like all day. Think about where you are standing right now, and where do you want to be in the next 6 months? Where do you want to be in the next year? My question to you is, what is the block? What's the block keeping you? And if you're unsure of the block, I want you to make sure you get in touch with me so that we can get you a breakthrough. And most importantly, get you in an environment filled with love so that you can, like I did, In a year, I was married. And 4.5 years later, still happily, blissfully glowing. Can't y'all see this glow? This ain't just good skin. This is called good love. But I want to be there for you. But you have to make a decision. Let's go back over the 4 steps. Set a date. Step number 2, be clear. Step number 3, know why you want it. Step number 4, prepare for it. And don't let anything stop you or make you think that I don't care your size, if you bald head, I don't care what's going on. There is someone who wants to love you. Kenyatta said, yes, you are glowing. There is somebody, gentlemen, hear me. There is a woman who is there for you, who will push you to your soul's kingdom. But you have got to do something different. It just don't happen for some of us. And you know that you are the sum of us because it hasn't happened yet. And every time you attempt, something is off. Something doesn't work. That means you are one of us that has to do it from preparation. You have to be bold and intentional about it. Now, as I said, I'm Nikisha Michelle, your love doyen, your fierce love coach, matchmaker. And I help primarily plus size women in their dating dry spell find true love and become a wife. And if this replay, thank you for listening live. If you're listening to the replay, listen, we have the dating boot camp coming up, Big Love Dating Boot Camp coming up. If you're interested in being in the Big Love Dating Boot Camp, 2 ways. One way, you can have it for free, but you have to be a member of the Make Me a Wife Academy, or you can pay a la carte for that. And if you are interested, DM me. If you're on Instagram, direct message me. If you are Facebook, you can message me or put a comment. I always monitor the comments under the videos, and I will get you that information, okay? Listen, I'm always honored when you guys show up for date night on Friday nights. I'm always honored. And until we meet or speak, hug yourself for me, and I will see you real soon.